Hey, what's going on, crypto people? It is the Crypto Siege with another day in the life and the crazy life that is a digital asset space. I don't know what's going on here, if this is working or not. What's going on? Nefsetta, how are you? I don't know if this live is actually working or not. Can you hear me and see me okay, Nefsetta? You can, huh? Well, my Zoom is saying that it's not working. Artie Bryan, how are you? Good to see you. Hear me clearly and see me fine. Good, good, good. I got to make sure something keeps saying it's unable to stream. What is going on here? Unable to live stream. All right, guys, I got to make sure this is working right. Five by five. Artie Bryan, what's good, my friend? No, it doesn't look like my Zoom is working right here. I am glad that you guys can hear me okay. I mean, that's good. I'm guessing I'm just live on YouTube and my Zoom streaming is not working, I guess. Guys, thanks a lot for hitting that like button on the way in. I definitely appreciate that. I don't know what happened to Zoom. It says I'm live. I guess I should go for it. We can see you and you can hear me. Excellent connection. Yeah, I appreciate you guys being here for sure. Yeah, the Terra Luna ecosystem has taken an over $50 billion hit. Over 50 freaking billion. I don't even know. That is crazy. And they're saying it's the greatest crypto collapse in history, the greatest crypto collapse in history. Audie Bryan says, good family, just busy, had to get out. My position on Luna market is crazy. Yeah, I hear you, bro. I hear you. Yeah, it's pegged back to 78 cents. I didn't think it was going to even get there. And then we're hearing about the fact that Do Kwon apparently or supposedly was part of some other thing, which to me doesn't make sense, that we wouldn't find out about this guy being part of some other thing until something happens. Why is it that it goes like that? Something had to happen with, well, I don't think anything happened with Wonderland. I think that he just finally got exposed. But 50 billion in the Terra Luna ecosystem, the UST stable coin lost its peg as much as 60 something percent and went down to 34, 32 cents. The stable coin went down to 34 or 32 cents. The Luna token, which was once trading at $84, $88, went down to $1. I don't even know how the peg is at 78 cents. I really don't even know how that peg is going to get there. They want us retailers to hold. So listen, I'm not selling I didn't have very many Luna. I only had 5 Luna tokens, 5. I only had 5. And I don't know. I think I had $300 in UST at one time. I'm not doing anything with it. If it goes, it goes. But that is crazy, absolutely crazy. I watched a very good YouTube video today with the team from Bankless, the guys from Bankless. And I don't know if you guys saw it. I'm going to share some clips. Hopefully I can share some clips. I don't know, but hopefully I can. I don't even know how I'm going to share some clips. Actually, I guess I can't because my Zoom is not on, so I can't share anything. Yeah, my Zoom is not on, so I can't share anything. But yeah, very, very good video on Bankless today. And a lot of great things said for sure. But up until one point, I could not agree with what they were saying. But man, they really laid out. I have to get this Zoom working because that is the only way I can share this stream. They really laid out the timeline and everything that happened, kind of step for step. Very, very nice job. Wait a minute. It says my Zoom is on. Wait a minute. Okay, yeah, it is on. The timeline of how everything took place, which is really, really good. See, share screen, share screen, share screen. It says stop live stream, so it is working. I don't know what happened there. They did a really, really, really good job, guys. I mean, really, really, really good job of laying out the timeline. A lot of people are hurting, lots of liquidations, because you got to understand, the Bitcoin was part of this as well, right? Bitcoin, other cryptos, this affected the Bitcoin market as well. So Bitcoin's at $29,269. When you hear them lay out the timeline of the different steps that this entity, that they're saying they don't know who the entity is, word on the street that it was BlackRock and Citadel. $29,271 currently for Bitcoin. XRP is at 41 cents. It is just unbelievable what is going on with this market. And the Terra token was, I think, number 4th largest. Is 71 cents now. It was 78. Now it's 71 cents. And the Luna token is less than $1. Wow. Oh, my heart just goes out to these people. Oh, Man, Luna token is down 99.1%. It's down to less than $1. Oh, man, my heart just goes out. I know there's big time suicide watches going on right now. A lot of people had their good part of their money in the Luna token. Anchor protocol, Mirror protocol, all these protocols built around this Luna token. That is tough, my friends. That is very, very tough. Man, that is just, that's not great. I'm going to let you guys listen to these guys from Bankless. They said something that I just cannot agree with, because I think it does matter. And I think that word on the street that it was BlackRock and or Citadel. Oh, Gemini. Okay, it did say Gemini. Okay. Gemini is denying that trade of 100 Bitcoin and that loan or whatever didn't happen with them. We are aware of a recent story that suggests that Gemini made 100,000 BTC loan to large institutional counterparties that reportedly resulted in a sell-off in Luna. It's saying Gemini made no such loan. Someone else tweeted down here. Yeah, a short story is right. That's what it is. But we'll get into that. Hold on, let me see if I can find this. Because someone said something about, well, what are these trades? Asu said that this is worse than Bitcoin. For those of you who don't know. Someone said, well, what are these trades? And I can't find it, but let me swear I had it before. I'll have to find it later. But take a listen. Let's listen together from this podcast from Bankless. Some really, really good stuff here. Really, really good stuff. Yeah, a lot of people are really, really, really hurting right now. All right, let's see. Start with this.
We'll get to more of that later. But David, I just want to set the mental model for this a little bit. I don't know if you've ever read anything by Nassim Taleb, but he has this this analogy he uses about tail risk events, and this is something that Vitalik said.
Let's go right here, 17 minutes, 54 seconds.
Getting back into the attack, the attacker who amassed over $1 billion, $1 billion UST, because if they have a bunch.
Remember, $1 billion UST is what they ended up getting. Not after everything happened, from just getting the 100K of Bitcoin, and supposedly some conversation or trade was made it with Do Kwon, where they wanted to make a big trade. They didn't want to do it in the market or over the market or whatever. They would do it with him, and they would get UST. And so he did that. Apparently, he did that. But let me back it up a little bit. Let's go right here.
to do. It starts with a wobble, right? So picture a bike going down a hill and it's going too fast, maybe. This was me as a kid, and I had a total wipe out. I was on a tiny BMX bike, and the first sign that you're going too fast, you start to wobble, right? And so your tires are moving back and forth. And then it moves into the wobbling increases, a little more wobble here, and then catastrophic failure and complete wipeout. What's also interesting is what you just described, the attacker. It's also a known attack. I mean, this has happened to currencies in the past.
This is a George Soros attack.
A Soros attack, yeah. George Soros in the early 1990s or late 1980s, I can't recall, used this type of an attack to destabilize the British pound when the central bankers in the UK were using the pound and trying to peg it. So this is a very well-known attack for these sorts of pegged monetary instruments.
Getting back into the attack, the attacker who amassed over $1 billion, $1 billion UST, because if they have a bunch of UST, that means they have a bunch of UST to sell, which means somebody needs to absorb what will ultimately become 1 billion UST token sell pressure. And so during the first phase of this attack, they sell 350 million UST into the curve pool, and that is what causes the initial destabilization. And this is where a lot of people start to pay attention here. And there are many different participants in the Luna Terra ecosystem. Many of them are funds, and then many of them are retail. So the funds understand that they are playing a game of chicken because these Terra anchor yields are just not sustainable. They know that this is kind of a game of chicken, and it's really going to be a game of who can sell when the time comes up. And so when the peg goes down to about 97.5 cents during this first sell-off of a 350 million UST, this I think is when a lot of funds started to clue in. It's like, hey, something's happening here, so we got to pay extra close attention. Meanwhile, retail don't pay attention to that stuff like this. They're not as sophisticated. They don't know how to do the research. They don't know how to look on chain, and they're busy doing their normal day jobs. And so the funds are keeping a very close eye on the peg, watching other funds and other market makers and how much assets they have, starting to do the Mexican standoff. It's just like, all right, like who's selling who's selling what, and
you got to shoot first and shoot fast.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. And so this is when at this point in time, around May 6th or 5th, 6th or 7th, the attacker who has 650 remaining UST tokens, which they got from their borrow, which some entity let them borrow this. Again, we don't know the details on this. They go to and take that 650 million UST tokens to Binance, and they start aggressively selling on Binance between lots of 300,000 to 3 million UST at a time. Some entities are defending the peg while this attacker is selling into the peg. So somebody is defending the peg at 0.98 cents, preventing the price from going down. But at some point, that defender either just capitulates, or they just pull their liquidity, or they ran out of money, and it breaks through the 98 cents.
This is the Binance order book. Is this what happened shortly after? And so, David, you and I were actually recording a podcast with Raoul Paul when the wobbles started to intensify in this thing, and we were observing in real time. You can actually get Raoul's real-time reaction.
Raoul, when you hopped into this recording room, UST price was at 98 cents being defended. Do you know what it is right now? It's at 92 cents. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then later that day, the Binance order book was actually empty. Mm-hmm. What does that mean? Hasu says he's never seen that before.
Yeah, so this was actually a front-end glitch out of Binance because they were not prepared to place bids below 70 cents. It's unheard of that a stable coin would be sold for at 70 cents. So Binance actually had to enable sub 70 cent bids in order to allow the market to clear. And so it just got so low, it got wiped out that there was no bids because the front end wouldn't allow for it. Moments after the screenshot was taken, they did open up sub 70 cent bids on UST, and then the price immediately fell below 60 cents. But part of this is starts to create the reflexivity. This was not actually the attacker all of the way. As soon as the attacker broke down below the person or the entity that was defending the 0.98 cent price, this is when deposits out of Anchor started to clear. So these are the funds saying, yo, somebody is selling all of their UST. We also have to start selling our UST because there's not enough liquidity to let us all out of the door. And so this is what happens where the attacker starts to sell UST, they create and instigate other selling. And so it starts to turn into a negative feedback loop. And that's where it starts to not just be this attacker who's intentionally depegging the price, but everyone else is willing to take the 2, 3, 5 cent loss in order just to have and shore up their profits that they've made.
So I want you to remember what he just said there. It's not just the attacker who's trying to intentionally attack the peg. Just make sure you pay attention to that. And also make sure that he said that the retail investors were not able to pay attention to what's going on. The funds may be like major funds, right? They're able to pay attention.
Made from the yield for the last few months, and so this feedback loop of reflexivity. This is where we are. Why I call algorithmic stablecoins reflexive stablecoins. There's not enough liquidity for everyone, so everyone needs to sell first, and this creates basically a run on the bank, and that is what just plummeted the UST price down to 70 cents, and then even below as once they opened up the orders. As the UST peg fell down to 60 cents, the Luna Foundation Guard is having to sell their Bitcoins to buy and maintain the peg as much as possible to the best of their ability. They just don't have enough ammo in the reserves to keep it up. And so they had to buy Bitcoin at $47,000 to sell it at $34,000 and below just to defend the peg. But the problem, Ryan, is that as they are selling Bitcoin at $34,000, they're pushing the whole entire market down. And so the market was already going down anyways because of the interest rate hikes from the Federal Reserve. And so people with Bitcoin positions were getting liquidated. People with Ether positions were getting liquidated. This was a global market liquidation event, which happens in crypto, but it was just made worse by the Luna.
Hold on. This was a global market liquidation event. Remember that. This was a global market liquidation event.
Luna Foundation because they had to sell into the lower price. And so they bought Bitcoin at the high price of 47. The value of that goes down to 34 when they have to begin selling it. And so it causes a global liquidation event for all of the markets, which just causes even more fear in the markets, and especially for UST and Luna holders. We haven't even talked about the Luna price yet. But this is basically the problem with external collateral. Fiscantes tweets out, reflexivity, speculation, and credit, 3 strong but dangerous resources you can harness if you are willing to pay the price. In all 3 cases, it can help you bootstrap by borrowing energy from the future, but you will need to pay it back later with interest, especially with an algorithmic stablecoin doesn't always have the ammo to pay it back. And if it doesn't, you have a reflexivity to the downside. Do Kwon tweets out, deploying more capital, steady lads. And this is why Ryan earlier called him the Jerome Powell of Terra, because he has to instill confidence in the peg. This is a faith-based peg. This is when there's not enough liquidity for everyone, people just have to have faith that not everyone else is going to sell. And so when Do Kwon tweets out deploying more capital, he's saying, hey, we have enough capital, don't worry about it. And so Luna goes and empties the last of their Bitcoin reserve wallet, the last $1.4 billion that they have, to shore up the peg. But again, it's just not enough. So here is the UST price, and this is at May 8th when the first attack came with a $35 million sold into the curve pool. Price is at $1, falls down to 97 cents, but then gets bought back up because this is just the first wave and there's plenty of ammo left. But then it starts to hover around 99.5 cents, and this is where the funds start to be like, yo, what's going on? And then as time progresses, we'll go to the next chart. You can can see the scale here. So that red square is what we were looking at previously. And so you can see how much worse it gets when there starts to be this panic as the attacker starts to sell a bunch of UST. Price goes all the way down to 0.64 cents, where it should be $1. It goes down to 64 cents, but then it gets bought back up by the remaining Luna Foundation Guard reserve ammo, and so then again gets bought back up to 90 cents. But then here again, that square, the square on the left, is what it was, what we were just looking at. And then this is the most recent snapshot that I took just before recording this, where things dropped all the way down to 34 cents. Here's the price of Luna, and this is also a contributing factor to the fear going through the whole entire ecosystem, where on May 4th, the price of Luna was $87. It starts to also sell off because people are getting scared, and so they want to reduce their exposure to the whole Luna ecosystem. Also, there are many, many redemptions for UST for Luna, and because people want to get out of UST because it's losing the peg, and so they're selling UST for Luna. Luna is getting minted because that's part of the algorithmic stablecoin, and then that is getting sold, and so that goes from $87 on the 4th down to something like $65 on the 7th, and then by the 9th it's down to like $52, and then today, the 10th, it hit a low of $1.50. And so this is a total collapse of the value of the Luna token, which is the last line of defense for backstopping the value of UST. And this is when the total market cap of UST, Ryan, starts to actually pass the total market cap of Luna, which is...
So you guys got, so I want to go to the thing, my point of contention. And I actually did, stop the share here for a second. And I actually did, I commented on it as well. What's going on, Andy Tuesday? Good to see you. Dano is in the building. What's good, bro? BlackRock caused it, says Andy Tuesday. From what I just heard, I have no evidence yet. I saw some tweets about it, and I did a video because Charles Hoskinson retweeted a tweet that suggested, that laid out the whole scenario. What's going on? Looking good doing it. Yeah, it certainly looks like someone coordinated a $400 to $500 million dump over 48 hours without question. And I think it was actually closer to $1 billion, but it started with 350 million JS. But my thing and my point of contention is the next part, where they're going to talk about something called trade or attack. And Audie Bryan, what is this saying here? What's going on, Paul Bogo? High altitude investing is still bullish. I joined his VIP group. Oh, nice. Congrats, bro. Welcome, 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 welcome. Yeah, high altitude investing is still bullish, and he has been bullish. I don't know if he's bullish on Luna or not, but I know he's, he is definitely bullish on Bitcoin, right? The institution brought it at the height, half the supply, then dumped it in UST, then they bail out. Who knows? Probably the guys running Terra did a rug pull. Prayers for the Luna investors. Yeah, Diego G. What's going on, my friend? I agree, because it is tough. There's talks of people committing suicide. A lot of people had their life savings in the UST stablecoin. Yeah. And I don't know why 20% on your money has to be too good to be true. I don't know why that is. Why is 7%? Or 8% or 9% or 10%, why is that able to be true? Like, I don't get it. And I think that is what that allows is it allows the banks to say, we'll give you 0.001% and you'll just take it. Yeah, so interesting stuff. LOL, not bullish on Luna. Yeah, right. I'm sure he's not bullish on Luna. No, and I know he's still, He is very much bullish on BTC. Definitely believes it's going to go over 100,000. You know, this cycle, or he might lean towards this cycle is extending. You know, generally they talk, him and his buddy DIY investing say, you know, 4-year cycles. But DIY investing has changed up and saying that he doesn't believe this is any longer a 4-year cycle. He believes it's an extended cycle. And so here's the thing that I will tell you for sure. And I'll let you listen to it. This next segment is going to be, it's going to be real short, just a minute or so. Attack, or was this merely a trade? Let's take a listen to this. Come on, laptop, scope, or internet and or
in the space. There's a big question as to like whether or not this was a black swan event or whether or not this was a coordinated attack. The Terra ecosystem is definitely leaning into this was a multi-level economic hitman attack, and while it does appear that there was one like well-capitalized entity that maneuvered this trade or this attack, it really doesn't matter. It's a semantics difference as to whether it's a trade.
See, I don't think so. I love every single thing they did up until this point, but up until this point was my point of contention that it doesn't matter if this was a trade, a simply or merely a trade, or if this was an intentional attack. That doesn't matter. That I have a problem with. And I'm going to read you my comment. And it actually ended up being a highlighted comment on the channel. But it says here, yeah, this is what I commented. I said, yeah, I disagree with it. Doesn't matter if it was an attack. Nobody is talking about the scourge that is shorting the market. Nobody is talking about the scourge, the nastiness that is, quote unquote, shorting the market. Everybody warns about leverage trading, the 30x long, the 40x longs, but no one says anything about the shorting. Shorts need to be gone from all trading. I trade every single day. I don't attack. This was intentional, and it wasn't just about money. You guys do really good work. Keep it up. I believe one of the biggest scourges in this market, in all of trading, is shorting. I mean, it is without question, it is shorting. Justin Sun just tweeted a couple hours ago that it looks like their new stablecoin that they just put out is next. Yeah, did you guys know that the Terratron, they just came out with a stablecoin not too long ago. I don't even think it was a month ago. Remember, I keep doing these videos and I'm like, what's going on with Tron? What's going on with Tron? What's going on with Tron? Why are they up? Why are they up? Everyone's down. Why are they up 7%? Why are they up 8%? Right? Stablecoin. And he tweeted out, it looks like we are next, but that's okay. We got about $2 billion. Now, that's not going to be enough. That's not going to be enough, 2 billion. It was an intentional attack. I challenge you for you to find yourself a trader, macro trader, hedge fund trader that trades $1 billion, $1 billion in the crypto market. And in the world's largest volatile market in the history of markets, someone's trading $1 billion of their money, of their investors' money, in crypto. No. This was an intentional attack because once Do Kwon let the world know. Now it's okay to say, you know what, we got to come down a little bit on this interest. We're going to come down from 19.7. We're going to take a vote on it, blah, 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 blah. It's passed. It's going to go down to about from 19.7 to about 18.7. That's cool. But the second you told them, you exposed the vulnerability of the peg by saying that you bought all this Bitcoin, which is a volatile asset, and you're going to use that as the backing to help with the peg. They knew they could do what they wanted to do. They knew it. They knew it. Michael Saylor has 100,000 or so Bitcoin. Where's this trade at? If this was just a trade, where's this trade? When you have $1 billion of Bitcoin, or if you have 100,000 Bitcoin, and it's about $1 billion of UST is stable, you're trading that in this volatile market? Yeah, I don't think so. They knew that they were going to be shorting the market. They knew it. They knew that they were going to short the market, and retail investors going to be hurt. $50 billion between Luna and UST gone. Who's got that? Who's got that? Who has that? Not your next door neighbor. People literally threatening and or have committed suicide because they had their life savings in the UST on the Anchor protocol. Michael Saylor didn't do that. He has more Bitcoin. Celsius Network has more Bitcoin. Where's their trade? Celsius Network has more Bitcoin than 100,000 Bitcoin. Celsius Network, I believe, is the second or third largest holder of Bitcoin, period. Where's that trade? The scourge of the market is being able to short the market, because that's why do you think, guys? Come on, why do you think that hashtag Gary Gensler will only and has only been approving Bitcoin futures? Why do you think he has only been approving Bitcoin futures? Because that's what all the shorting is. It's in the Bitcoin futures. It's in futures products where they, old money, Wall Street, institutional money, they're the experts at that stuff. They do it all the time in all the markets. All these Bitcoin futures being approved and no spot ETF. No Bitcoin spot ETF. Janet Yellen in the wee hours of the morning in a congressional hearing. I mean, what is it? 9, 10 o'clock Eastern time, maybe. She's already got the word about what happened at the Janet Yellen. You're telling me she knows about this before people in crypto? And that's right, Audie Bryan. I tweeted that out. I mean, I shared that tweet the other night. I think I shared it today and yesterday. Think about this, guys. The top BTC wallets just bought another 100,000 BTC. Are retail people, do they have the top 100 BTC wallets? Retail. Does the person that you consider to be a Bitcoin whale, are they in the top 100 wallets of all Bitcoin wallets? I don't think so. Who has all those? Who's in the top 100? Institutional money. And they increased the Bitcoin by 100,000. That's right. So it was a short in the market to manipulate, to fatten in these BTCs Maxi's pocket. And that's institutions, man, right? That is not you and I. The top 100, the top 100 Bitcoin wallets. That's not you and I. That's not someone you know. No worries, JS. That's what it was. So for me, it was not merely a simple trade. The people who have $1 billion in Bitcoin, like Michael Saylor and Celsius Network, they're holding their Bitcoin. They're not offering up trades for their Bitcoin for UST. It's an algorithmic stable coin. They're not, come on. They're not trading their Bitcoin for some freaking UST Terra. What hedge fund in his right mind, unless they had something devious in mind, would trade Bitcoin for an algorithmic stable coin? How are they going to explain that to their investors? How are they going to? Yeah. How are they going to get the blessing on that from their investors? Come on, babe. Come on. See, saw you jumped in on my Celsius Club for a few minutes. I did, sir. Thanks for the support. San Antonio in the building. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Any word from Alice Mashinsky on this latest happening, South Texas, San Celsius? I mean, come on, guys. Think about that. It's $1 billion. $1 billion. And you're going to trade it in the most volatile market in the history of all markets? Yeah, I don't think so. That wasn't a trade, man. That wasn't a trade. So Bankless, my guys, I appreciate what you guys do, but nah, that was not a trade. That was an attack. And it does matter because it was an attack. It was an attack. It wasn't simply a trade. Nobody trades $1 billion in the most volatile crypto market in history. Zero chance of that. Zero. They're not putting $1 billion up for some guesswork and let the market decide if they're going to win or not. They knew intentionally what they were going to do intentionally. That's why I said in the comments, and that's why I'm saying now, shorting the market, it's the scourge of all trading. How come it's still around? How come it's still around? The SEC will get all on these leveraged, they say they quote unquote leverage trading. I get it, you can leverage either way. They'll get on that. What about just getting in and shorting the market? Why do we need it? We don't need shorting the market. We don't need shorts in this market. It can be manipulated. They can manipulate that aspect of trading. They can FUD They can sell their, sell their books, if you will. They know all the strategies to amp up this thing, to get you all excited so that you can buy that thing at the top. And then they'll sell and create a selling thing and short all the way down. They know the freaking game. They know the game. And hashtag Gary Gensler, who is supposed to be looking out for retail investors, all he will approve is expanding the short market. That's all he will approve. South Texas Celsius said, what's going on, legendary? Analysts confirmed Celsius not part of any Luna bailout. I didn't even know there was a Luna bailout. And no truth to any articles with no sources. Celsius continues to build, looking for the next 100 years, not these short-term nonsense growth. Absolutely. So, and I heard Alex Mashinsky, give a word of caution. Yeah, we got UST on the platform, but he gave a word of caution that it's algorithmic. It's not really backed by anything. USDC and things like that are backed one for one by the federal, right? He gave that caution. He gave that caution. Where's Malo? Sorry to hear that, my guys. Sorry to hear that. Really, guys, this is my worst week in my life ever. I lost $62,000. 80% of my portfolio is gone. I'm sorry to hear that, bro. Were you in the Terra Luna ecosystem? Were you did you hold UST and hold the Luna token? So, Bankless was trying to get away with saying that it doesn't matter. I just disagree. Those are two very smart guys. But I disagree. I disagree that it doesn't matter. It does matter. Everything in crypto is risky. But for you to get up in the morning and get together with your buds and your dudes and consciously make a decision to intentionally attack is a different thing. And that's what it was. That's exactly what it was. And I promise you it wasn't about the money. I promise you it was not about the money. I said it in the video today. I've said it in other videos. Wall Street, institutional money, does not want you and I to walk away from their liquidity pool. That's what we're able to do in DeFi and crypto. And they don't want it. They're not trying to have it. I don't know. Word on the street, it was BlackRock and Citadel, but I don't know who it was. But I do know that they don't want us walking away from their liquidity pool. That I promise you. They don't want for you and I, as my friend likes to say, for you and I to perform the banking function on a you and me level. They don't want that. No, the intermediaries want us to go through them. It wouldn't shock me or surprise me at all that the powers that be in the government knew about this attack. Wouldn't shock me in the least bit. Janet Yellen, how old is freaking Janet Yellen? And you're telling me that she was aware of this just in the nick of time, that in for her hearing with Congress, just in the nick of time, literally within hours, she's able to use that as part of her opening, I think it was part of her opening speech. Old money doesn't want us to win. That is the bottom line. Terra story was just the distraction. All markets capitulated. They know retail needs a reason, but this was where we were headed when you zoom out. The setup was months ago. Old money doesn't want us to win. And now they can come and save us and quote unquote protect us without question. That is without question. I'm telling you, that is without, they do not want us to be involved in crypto and DeFi, where you and I have the choice to choose our own money and to choose in which direction we go with our money. They want to thrust their money and their monetary policy down our throats. That's what they want. And if BlackRock was involved, you know, BlackRock has certain entities in the government on speed dial, right? You do know that, right? I don't know if it was the Treasury or the Reserve. They got them all on speed dial. You put all the alphabets and take whatever part of the United States government you want. They reach out to BlackRock for help. Yeah. And just like the mayor of New York said, there's a hand in the pocket of the unelected in the United States government. That's why I tell people all the time that when you understand the bigger picture, just like Charles Cardano shared today. Did you guys see Charles Cardano? That's funny. Charles Hoskinson of Cardano's video today. Have you guys seen that? Would you like to hear what Charles has to say about what institutions and old money think about you? Would you guys like to hear it? I'm going to share that with you guys. Let me find it first. There it is. Let me share it. This is what institutions and old money and hashtag Gary Gensler think about retail investors.
Recession, reallocate your portfolio. This was always the danger of inviting the Wall Street types in, is that they would just simply treat crypto like any other asset and label it as an exotic high-risk one. And when the markets go in not the direction they want, they dump it. The retail people are holding because they are opting out of a global system that's unfair, a global system that's frankly rigged. Seen it myself. I've been in the meetings. I've talked to the people everywhere I go. They don't give a fuck about sustainability. They don't care at all in any way, shape, or form about whether you live well. Your standard of living is the same as the standard of living of your parents, your grandparents, your great-grandparents. In fact, quite the opposite. They're trying to prepare the masses to accept a standard of living significantly less than the one that they inherited. That,
my friends, is called spitting the facts, as One Life Investments likes to put it. He says in this video here, it's institutions versus the retail investor. They don't care about decentralized finance and the decentralized autonomous organizations. They want to thrust their money down your throat. They want you to buy their products and feed off of you in terms of fees and fees and fees. They want to be able to conjure up these fake products like IRAs and 401ks so they can rake in your money and fees and go gamble with it on Wall Street. We have, up until 2008, 2009, we have been their liquidity. That, my friends, is the harsh, harsh truth. Here's another harsh, harsh truth for you. if we continue, or I should say, if you continue to run to the bank and deposit your money, you're, quite frankly, you're helping to increase the money supply. That's what you're doing. Because when you put your dollars there, we have less than 15% of our money in a bank, less than 15%. I know when someone said, I know someone who has got less than 5%. And this dude has tons of money in crypto, less than 5% in the bank. And look, this is from Justin Sun before I share something that I tweeted out. Funding rate of shorting Tron. Funding rate of shorting Tron on Binance is over 100% APR. It seems that Tron is the next target after Luna. He says here that the Tron DAO reserve will deploy 2 billion USD to fight them. I saw something the other day, and I believe it said that Bitcoin's market cap was greater than JP Morgan. What do you think that the likes of Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan think when they hear that? You know, it takes them 25, 30 years to get where they've gotten to, and Bitcoin in 13 years has sucked it all up. That's the harsh truth. That's why, again, I have a problem with YouTubers who constantly promote traditional financial products and who won't say a word about Celsius Network. Not a word. And we'll go around promoting all these traditional financial products. And Celsius Network, with more assets under management than any crypto platform out there, pays for your fees in and out of the platform, allows you to swap fee-free, giving you 6, 7, 8, 9% on your stable coin money, and not a peep, not a word from YouTubers about Celsius Network. And then because of, I'm not going to say it, not a word, but will promote traditional financial products made by old money to rake you of your cash under the guise of tax deferred. Who will hypnotize you into thinking it's okay for you to not access your money when you want to, or else you will get penalized. No. If you're going to jump out of our liquidity pool before we say you can, we're going to tax you and call it a fee. I don't understand it. Like, I do not understand it. I tweeted out this earlier today, looks like 8 hours ago or so. The point of crypto has always been about a different option than the dystopian option that has been offered to us. Do your homework. And prior to 1913, that's when the tax code law got activated. Prior to that, the United States government was in a surplus. And ever since the tax thing came out, it's been nothing but downhill since. challenge you to look in deeply at your 401ks, your IRAs, and your Roth IRAs. I challenge you to find the fine print that says that if they aren't able to get you your money, they don't have to get you your money. They have an out, just like the banks. The banks have an out as well. If you don't know, you should read up on it. I challenge you to read The Pirates of Manhattan, both books 1 and 2. Challenge you. Listen to Charles again.
They simply have no other choice. The point of cryptocurrency consequences of what we're doing. We're due for a systems change, and the institutions aren't going to do that for us. They're going to go down with the sinking ship because they simply have no other choice. The point of cryptocurrencies and blockchain technology has always been a different option than the dystopian future that's being offered to us. Consequences of what we're doing. We're
just saying. I'm just saying, my friends. I am just saying, my friends. That's right. Yes, yes, the Treasury for BlackRock. Trump gave them direct access in March of 2020, and that still has not been revoked. What's going on, Charlie Conte? Good to see you, bro. 100%, we are still winning. But understand, a lot of people got hurt. Tons of people got hurt by this attack. This attack. They keep saying that sometimes my mic goes in and out. I don't know what's going on there. This attack on crypto. What's going on with my mic? Checking my mic. So no, it wasn't just a trade. My guys at Bankless, it wasn't just a trade. It was an experiment, you know, with Luna and UST and its algorithmic stable coins. Other people are trying to do it. I believe the people at Waves have a very similar one. I believe it is algo as well. Hi from New Zealand. What's going on, Corey Anderson? Frogadello Research. Where else do you stake Luna trying to buy the debt? Well, there's other platforms. It's at 50 something cents now. It's interesting. It's a sad thing. I told Miss Crypto Seeds we had 5 Luna tokens. We had about $300 in UST. Where it goes. Oh, quit sharing my screen. That's what's messing up with the sound. Okay, Don Corbin, I will do that. Get anything you might have on Coinbase off. They said they will liquidate assets if they go under. Yeah, Coinbase is taking a massive hit in the market. That's right. Be sure to get those, anything you got on Coinbase off of Coinbase. Philip Wan says, worst day ever. Yeah, I mean, they're saying that this is like the biggest crypto collapse in the biggest collapse in the history of crypto. Say it with your chest, unbank, hashtag unbank yourself. There you go, South Texas Celsius. That's the deal, guys. That is ultimately the deal. Again, I'm not, what I'm saying to these YouTubers, a couple of these guys are really good dudes and all my friends. But what I'm saying is we have to wake up to the fact that they do not want us to walk away from their liquidity pool. And they got everyone They got everyone drunk with this idea of tax-free and this idea of tax deferment. Do you control your money or not? Do you control it? When you own their when you quote unquote own their financial product, do you own it or not? They're gonna tax you for taking your money out when you want to take it. They're gonna fine print because they got the lawyers drawing all this stuff up. They're gonna fine print and say if for some reason they can't get you their money, then they're not liable. Are you reading that? I don't need a 401k, an IRA, or Roth IRA to not have to pay taxes. They got plenty of ways for you to write off your taxes without giving up control of your money. Plenty of ways, guys. Plenty of ways. Plenty of ways. You should check and see where the banks have their money. Do you think the banks have Roth IRAs? Like, seriously, do you think they have on their assets book thing they got Roth IRA or IRAs? Just saying, just think about it. Who is the SPAC for Circle? I know, isn't BlackRock hooked up with Circle? Isn't BlackRock? I use a bank. I use a bank for like a 3-day or 4-day thing to put it into, for us, you know, that I was on Terra for a little bit. Most of my stuff was always on Celsius. Celsius lets me move my money out of there, in and out, with no fees. Like, there's no fees. When I swap, there's no fees for moving in and off. Celsius doesn't charge. And I think, the only charges may come from third-party people if you try to do something with your bank. And they pay me interest on my crypto if you're able to be grandfathered in as a non-accredited investor. You're blessed, for sure. So, do your homework, guys. Definitely do your homework and do your due diligence on these traditional financial products. I am not a fan. Personally, I'm not a fan of those at all. DeFi is tricky. DeFi is tricky for sure. Aave's been doing its thing without a hiccup. You can deposit on Aave, you can borrow against it on Aave, compound, die. Don't let the Terra Luna debacle scare you from recognizing, researching, and finding the ones that have staying power. The blood in the streets are real, without question, Bam Bam. Good to see you. If you know, then you know. Yeah, so that's the big deal right there, guys. Again, it wasn't a trade. It was an attack. Guys, do me a favor. If you haven't hit the like button already, please do so. We try to get as many likes on the channel, on the stream, as we have people viewing the stream. And if you're hanging out and you're watching, you haven't had a chance to subscribe to the channel, please consider subscribing to the channel. It definitely helps with the algorithm on YouTube. Let's get those likes up to just as many viewers that we have on the stream. Again, my heart and prayers go out to those people who were holding their life savings in stablecoin, in the US Terra stablecoin and or in Luna. It's a tough thing. I know my guy Danku R is struggling. I know the people from Terabytes are struggling. You know, let's keep them in our prayers for sure. Let's keep them in our prayers. It's a very, very tough time. USDC Circle is doing some smart things. I do believe eventually it will become in the hands of the some people who can have more control over it. They do not like the idea of a decentralized stablecoin. You can best believe that. And we all know that there's a massive nastiness to a central bank digital currency. We all know that for sure. So, all right, guys, listen, I'm going to end this video. I've been rambling on for over an hour. I'm going to end this live stream like I do all my live streams and remind you guys of this, that old money doesn't want you to win. They don't want us to win. They would rather that we remain a cog in their perpetual wheel of trading our time for dollars. They don't want us to play in the same playground that they play in, but we allow our money to work for us. This is our chance to win, guys. The digital asset space is our chance to win. We are in the midst of the greatest transfer of wealth in the history of man. Are you participating or are you standing on the sidelines? Here's what I do know, that the battle for you has already been fought and the victory is yours. Go get it. I'll talk to you soon, guys. See ya. Bye.